So today I'm back out in Glasgow and we're 5 years on from the pandemic, and I'm curious to know what the general public now think of 2020 regarding the pandemic, regarding the lockdowns, regarding everything. It'll be interesting to see if everybody has been presented the real truth and the facts regarding COVID, and especially regarding the Jags. So let's see if we can get any interviews today. This will be interesting. It's hard to get people to talk, man. See if anyone's up for talking, man. You boys up for an interview?
What are we interviewing about?
So we're 5 years on from the lockdown. I'm just wondering what people's views are on the lockdown.
I've not really got many views, to be honest, mate.
I've got
I don't think I'm your best man.
Nah, no interested, no.
I don't really deal with it, honestly.
Nah, no interested in that country got locked down.
What's your message? What do you?
Well, I'm just curious to see what people's thoughts are on it, you know, like, did they think that 2020, do you think there was a pandemic? I always like to ask people, did you see a pandemic?
Not much.
You didn't see a pandemic? Did you see people dropping down the streets?
Nah.
And what do you think about the vaccines? What do you boys think about the Jags? Don't worry, you're not on camera, by the way.
Well, I got. But I'm a bit of a follower. I'm not a sheep.
So you got them?
Yeah.
What do you think of them?
Listen. Well, they didn't. To be fair, I
Alright, put you in camera.
What?
Alright, put you in camera.
Yeah, go on then.
You sure? You want to stand up, mate? We'll have a chat. You're 18, where are you from?
I'm from near Brighton.
Brighton.
Yeah.
So what brings you to Scotland?
I'm half Scottish. I've lived here for about 4 years.
Oh, yeah, aye. So I'm coming out in the streets and I want to get an understanding of what people thought about COVID. I want to see what people thought about the lockdown. Do you think, did you see a pandemic?
Not personally, no, not really.
You didn't see a pandemic? Nah. So you didn't see people dropping in the streets. Do you think that we really needed to lock down the whole country, the whole world?
I'm a bit of a sheep, to be honest. I kind of just follow other people, so I kind of just listen to government and that. So I just got the vaccines and stuff.
So you did take the Jags?
Yeah,
what do you think of the Jags?
I think it was fine. COVID didn't really affect me, but I think it was fine. I listened to the scientists.
And what do you think of the vaccines? Do you think they were safe and effective?
It's hard to tell because I didn't. When I got it, I'm quite young and I'm fairly healthy, so it didn't really affect me. COVID, but.
So again, I'm just sitting here and I just want to interview people. We're 5 years on from the pandemic. I'm interested to see what the general public now think 5 years on from the pandemic. Do you feel that we should have been locked down? Do you think it was all the right thing to do? What's your views on it?
Well, I don't think MD knew what to do at the start. I don't know, did you know what to do?
At the start, it was very frightening. It was scary at the time. The propaganda machine, I do believe, was very strong, What do you think?
Well, we were told there was a pandemic that was going to kill people, and obviously people were dying, they had breathing problems, they were dying. It seemed to be an unknown quantity, so yes.
So the question I like to ask people is did you see a pandemic? So did you personally see a pandemic? So you never seen a pandemic?
No.
What's your name, young man?
Ross.
Ross, how you doing, Ross? So here's a question for you, right? We're 5 years on from the pandemic. Whole place got locked up and all that. What's your views on it?
I think it's a lot of shit. I think it's a way for the government to make money and basically put deaths on people and excuse that as a COVID death, because there was a lot of deaths through COVID that were said that was COVID related that really weren't. I think it was just a way to basically free up spaces in old folks' homes and get people off the street.
What do you think? Do you think it was just a big complicit test? Do you think it was just to see how much people would be
controlled? 100%. And see the vaccines and all that lot of shit. I didn't get vaccinated. I was around people at Christmas time during COVID. My mum and all that had it. Didn't pick it up, didn't contract it, nothing. Didn't take my vaccination, nothing.
What do you think about the Jags?
A lot of shit. I think it was just a way for the government to make money off you and basically control you and to see how much they could control the public and see how much pull and that they had.
He's on the ball, your mate, isn't he? On the ball. I took the Jag, mate, and nearly ended my life, man.
There you go, man. I took it. I've got asthma. I've been asthmatic since I was a young boy. I've always had it. Always dealt with it and that. And COVID was meant to basically affect people with asthmatic problems and that. Didn't affect me once. I was around people consistently with it throughout lockdown and everything. I was in prison throughout lockdown. Got out for the second lockdown. Was having house parties. Didn't fucking get it at all.
So I'm out in the streets today, right, and I like to ask people, so we're 5 years on from the pandemic, right? You guys are quite young, do you know what I mean? What's your guys' views 5 years on for the pandemic? What do you guys think about it?
I can't lie. I thought it made the society a bit dumber. You know?
low-key.
People are too stuck at their houses, and I'm not gonna lie myself. I used to be a smart kid, but then I kind of let go of my life because of this pandemic. I was just being jobless, sitting in my house. playing my games and that.
So now we're looking back, because a lot of people say, we had this deadly pandemic, people were dropping in the streets and all that. Did you guys see a pandemic?
My whole family had COVID and I didn't even get it, so I don't know if
Did they die?
Nah, they're still alive. But they were very sick, but I don't know how, I didn't believe in it because I never got it, you know.
What do you think it was all about? Do you think it was just a complicit test?
You know what? I look at have a conspiracy, you know. I feel like the government were planning something. Well, we're all at homes, we can't go outside. And then guess what? Boom, they do like some secret mission, you know.
I feel like it just made jobs like go so basically, see, before the pandemic, yeah, there were so many job opportunities and stuff. But see, after the pandemic, yeah, like I've applied for like 159 jobs on Indeed right now, and none of them are going back to me, bro. You know what I mean?
You think that's done to the pandemic?
Yes, it is, bro. Yes, it is, mate. Because see, the pandemic did happen, bro. This shop will be open, that shop will be open, you know what I mean? So you can actually get a job, mate, but nah, I can't get a job right now, bro, you know?
So I'm just out here, mate, I'm just asking the general public. It's 5 year on from the pandemic. This time, 5 years ago, the government basically locked us all down into a pandemic. And I'm just asking people, what's their views on 2020 and COVID now we're 5 years on?
5 year on, I mean, I'm just sorry I attained to the vaccines, mate, because I think, it's a farce, really. You know what I mean? I was I was in Blackpool on holiday when the COVID first came out, mate, and they were actually boarding up the hotel down there that we stayed in. When we left, I was in a Dodds Troon bus. They says we were history in the making because Dodds was taking their bus out of Blackpool and they didn't know when they'd be back in it. That's my experiences of COVID. I was no well for a couple of months begging. I couldn't get out the house or nothing like that. But once I kind of got myself together, I did have 2 jags. But I'm sorry I took them, mate, honestly. Aye. That's a fact.
I mean, it seems to be quite common that. A lot of people, I always ask people as well, did you see a pandemic? Did you see people dropping in the streets? The government locked us down while they were out partying and doing what they had to do, you know. And I always ask people, did you see a pandemic? Do you know anyone that caught the COVID and died?
Personally, no. I don't know anybody that died for it, mate.
And obviously they brought out the Jags, which is obviously the COVID Jag. You took 2 of them and you regret that?
I do regret taking them, mate.
Why'd you regret that?
Because I think my immune system could have done it for me. It was just kind of like, I think it was a money-making venture.
So if you were fit and healthy, do you not think that your body would have survived COVID? Because I think the average death at one point was like 79, 81.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah. Probably.
So, well, I mean, with the fact that you said you're a sheep, I mean, that's the thing. So, for example, I took the COVID Jag, right, and it nearly killed me.
Right.
So I've got a heart condition now, I've got myocarditis, neurological issues, I was in a wheelchair. Not only that, I've got a friend who had his leg amputated from it,
Right.
proven by the government and the doctors. Now, my question to you is, if you knew the possibility of having your leg amputated or having heart issues or having amputations, would you have taken the Jag?
It would have been much more of a consideration.
So do you feel when the government tell people they get informed consent regarding the Jags, if I told you the side effects were rheumatoid arthritis, myocarditis, there's talks of being cancer, people getting cancer. I had a condition called POTS, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, something I shouldn't be able to say. Right. So a lot of people have now got health conditions from it, and there was 9 pages of adverse reactions that were handed out by Pfizer that try to hide that data for 45 years. So how many of the Jags did you take?
2.
So how do you feel about that now that basically there's no studies to show that it actually saved one person's life, and not only that, it wasn't even tested to actually stop transmission? I mean, how do you feel about that?
Probably do a bit more research next time, maybe.
So do you agree with the lockdown? Do you think it was the right thing to do?
Oh, I don't know if I agree or not. No, I'm not going to say I agree or not. No.
What do you think about, so Nicola Sturgeon, during the pandemic, she was very strong with Scotland, in my opinion, looking back now, it ruined a lot of businesses. We've got a rise in mental health issues with children and stuff as well. This woman locked down the whole country. Now, she went into the COVID inquiry and she deleted all her WhatsApp messages for the inquiry when she told the general public that basically she would give that as evidence for the inquiry, but her Boris Johnson, Matt Hancock, all of them in power, all deleted their WhatsApp messages. I mean, what do you think of that?
Well, again, I think it was an unknown quantity. We were getting told from travelling. Obviously, the first information I had was that people were dying in Italy. That was the first thing I heard, that people were dying. You know, obviously it come from the Far East. Was it man-made? Was it a monkey disease? Was it man-made? As I say, we don't know. So it was all very. All I knew was that we'd heard it was spreading across Europe and people were dying. So the only way to stop a virus, a bit like the Black Death, was to shut people up, I suppose, or lock people up. Not shut people up, lock people up.
So,
I mean, what would you get told if you were told there was going to be a pandemic and people were dying across Europe?
yeah, but what I'm saying regarding Nicola Sturgeon, she stood on the podium and she told the general public that she would give her WhatsApp messages as evidence. She said that, but she then deleted her evidence. I mean, is that not quite of a red flag?
Well, obviously she had conversations that probably weren't appropriate for anybody else to. But I've always been told, I worked in PR, that anything you write down can be seen by anybody, so you shouldn't write down anything that can't be seen by everybody. So it's a bit alarming. I'm not saying that what she said, maybe she used words that weren't appropriate, I don't know. But yes, certainly, we don't know the full information about what happened, but certainly if it kept people safe, and I didn't know anybody personally that was affected by COVID, but maybe I'm just lucky.
So I'm just out here and I'm just, the mainstream media are pushing the narrative regarding the pandemic. We're 5 years on from it now. I just want to ask people in Scotland, like, what's their views now, 5 years on? What did you think about the COVID pandemic?
A pure farce. And to be honest, like my daughter's suffering now, she's in hospital and that was all through COVID. Like she never got to finish school, go to college, never made new pals, and she was like a teenager then. So her life's went downhill like badly for then.
From the pandemic?
Aye.
What, mental health and that?
Aye,
or?
mental health.
Oh, really?
Aye,
And
big
what-
time.
And so I always like to ask people, did you see a pandemic? Did you see people dropping in the street and that?
Nah.
Do you know anyone that caught the virus and is no longer here?
I caught it myself like about 3 years into it, and I had been out working all the way through it, and I caught it somehow like 3 years into
Right,
it.
you didn't-
And it was nearly life threatening, and I've got COPD and that, and it was I knew it was a bad cold. Do you know what I mean?
So you didn't see a pandemic and do you know anyone personally unalive from the COVID?
No, but I know a lot of people, family members that have died due to not getting seen through COVID, but other health issues, if you know what I mean.
I mean,
It's been an effect, but no actually directly through COVID.
so
Through the doctors being shut, do you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
100%. Like I said, cancer patients couldn't see
Aye, that's
doctors,
right.
but people seem to just forget about that, you know.
Still a big waiting list, like backlogged for it and all that and all. Like, to me, COVID's still affecting my life, like my family's life.
And obviously they brought out the Jags. They told everybody this, that, and the next thing. Did you take the Jag?
No,
Well, why didn't you take it?
because I read a lot about it even before. Like, I done my homework on it. Like, even my daughter, she was only young. She's like, Mum, how can they come up with a vaccine like in such a short space of time? It takes years. And they've not even got anything for the cold yet or cancer or... So I'm like, no. So I read all the thing, mate, and what came out to me straight away when they were just talking about bringing the vaccine out was, see any vaccine that damages you, you can like sue them basically if your life's really affected by that or a family member dies. I read very early into it that wasn't the case with the COVID vaccine, and that kind of just rung alarm bells in me. I'm like, so they're just using us as guinea pigs now, or...
Well, it's been proven now that
And there's a lot of my family members that took the vaccine that are no longer here, but they had other health conditions. But there's a few of my family members that didn't take it, and my daughter's one of them, and she never took it.
I mean, that is the common thing. I tend to ask people, did you see a pandemic? Again, the propaganda we were told was locking
But then,
people.
surely if people are locked down, then you're not going to see a pandemic, because if people are locked down, then you're not going to see the virus transfer as much. If people had been out and about and, you know, socialising as they had been, would we have seen, like, worst case, a bit like that storm that we had recently, that I thought it wasn't that bad. But when I did walk out, I did see a lot of like trees knocked down.
I mean, there was a hurricane that a storm we had many years ago that was a lot worse than that, and we didn't lock down for it. I think it was a bit of a complicit test to see how complicit we would all be when I look back.
It was, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
And
I'm listen. I work in PR. I'm not stupid. I've got an honours degree.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I'm not like an umpty. But I don't think that you know or I know, and you can go and talk about it as much as you like, but none of us know really.
yeah, and in regards to the vaccines, I mean, they brought out a vaccine. Did you take the vaccine at all?
I did, yes.
And what's your thoughts on the vaccine?
I wouldn't have taken it if I was childbearing years because it's not been tested for long enough, and obviously you don't know what the long-term impact is. Although they said it was safe, no drug is safe until you've tested it for a number of years.
And do you feel that you were given the informed consent regarding the Jags?
Well, I don't know if it informed. I made the decision myself. Yeah, but probably not. But I took the decision. There were people around me, and I think there was that certain like feeling that if you didn't take it, you could pass it on to people. And if you're older, then there were chances where you were going to take it, or the impact would be more severe. And also, you could pass it on to people who had I've got older relatives, so I didn't want to kill.
So if I told you I took the COVID-19 Jag and it nearly ended my life,
Yeah. Did you have a thought or?
I've now got heart issues, I've got neurological issues, I've spent about £45,000 to get my life back. And I've got a friend, his name's Alex Mitchell, he's also from Glasgow and he had his leg amputated. Now, if you knew about the possible side effects being a leg amputation, myocarditis, the list of side effects is ridiculous. I mean, would you have still taken that?
Well, see, I'm not going to be horrible, but see, women, they take the pill, and the pill has a list of things. If you want to have a look at what the possible impacts can be of taking any kind of drug, there's going to be an impact. Everybody's different. I do suffer from a lot of allergies, so I thought, well, there's the potential of that, but that's the risk you take.
And for me,
and it sounds terrible. It's a bit like collateral damage. It's like if it does save the majority of lives, and I do suffer from allergies, and I took that risk myself. So I'm not saying you took the risk. I took the risk knowing I had allergies. So blindly maybe, but you didn't really have much choice.
Yeah, well, like I said,
we're locked in. I'm not saying it was right. I'm not stupid. We're all kind of like controlled in a certain fashion.
Well, for me, like I said, I took it and nearly ended my life. Now again, to go back to
Which is not good. I'm not saying that's
No, I know, but for me, I just feel the general public don't actually, have not been given the correct information.
But how long can you tell people? How much information give people?
Well, the thing is, so
Do you know any drug probably has that?
Not to the level of this drug.
Are you sure?
100%. I mean,
Do you know that?
well, I know for a fact that nobody else in the country
Do you
can.
know about other drugs that people are given? I mean, I know even IVF has a terrible risk that a lot of women take IVF, end up with breast cancer, the children end up with kidney cancer. It's not like projected or promoted. Like, obviously, it was a blood scandal. It's never promoted. I know people who knew about that. It's never promoted. Every drug has a risk. Every single drug. There's not one person who takes a drug who's not
So again, the
impacted by it.
AstraZeneca one's been pulled from the market. Did everybody know that?
No, but at the time they're probably thinking this works, and it seems to, on the small probable number of people that the test. I'm not saying it was, but how long we were going to be? If they hadn't done these things, we'd have been in lockdown for much longer.
What's your girls? What's your view on? We're 5 years on from the pandemic. What do you guys think about it?
I don't really. I thought the government were really good.
You thought they were good?
Yeah.
Nicola Sturgeon?
Good. And I don't really know about this.
No. That's just me. Don't worry. It's just your voice.
I don't like her, but I thought she was excellent.
But what about when she deleted all her WhatsApp messages at the COVID inquiry? Is that not a bit suspect?
They've got an antidote for that, so it's a lot of shite. It's the same with cancer or all that shit. That they've not got an antidote for cancer and a way to fix it. What a shite, it's just a way for people to make money.
So, here's a question for you, right? If there was another lockdown tomorrow, would you do it?
What the fuck?
So, Jim, I'm back out here Thursday night. You guys still out here spreading the word. 5 years on from the pandemic, Jim. Everybody seems to think that it was a massive pandemic. People were dropping in the street, although I've been asking people in the street, if that's what they've seen and they've told me different. I mean, Jim, what's your thoughts on the pandemic 5 years ago?
Pandemic, so pandemic. It's all planned. It's all planned. I never believed a word of it. It's all shite. Personally, I don't know what they make you ill with. I don't know how they manage to get you to lose your sense of smell and taste. Because I did get a cold type thing. And I don't know how they're doing it. Maybe the fucking shite they're spraying in the skies, in the food, the water, or whatever. But there wasn't any pandemic, John. A pandemic of fucking lies, maybe coming out of the TV, coming out of all your politicians' mouths, and pandemic of lies, maybe. There wasn't any pandemic, wasn't any great big health emergency, none.
And obviously,
If
Jim,
there was a health emergency, probably it would be how to try and get everybody not to take a fucking vaccine that they hadn't even told you about when they locked you down, but some of us were already saying, don't fucking listen to that shit, you know.
but then you guys were labelled as anti-vax or conspiracy theorists.
Conspiracy theorists, I don't care what anybody calls me, John. I don't give a fuck. I fucking gave up caring long time ago. Everybody thinks I'm nuts, mate, so I don't care.
At the end of the day, mate, I said you guys have always been out here for me and Alex, and again, there's people walking past and they're starting to agree with you guys.
Well, there's quite a lot of people seem to be getting affected. Thankfully, I don't know anybody myself. I don't get any direct. Oh no, actually, I have. I've got a brother-in-law who's a taxi driver, and he took fucking 2 or 3 vaccines. I don't see him very often, you know, but he was saying to me, I think it was that fucking vaccine, Jim, you know. And then my sister-in-law, actually, as well. She took one for her work. She had a heart attack.
But yeah, like I said, there didn't seem to be a pandemic when you asked the general public in the street because nobody knew. Like you said, you didn't know anybody who personally.
But because we locked down so quickly.
But again, the hospitals weren't full. This is the thing. Every time I've spoken out regarding my injury to that jag, I've been shut down on social media. So does that not tell you that basically the government,
it's all to do with control of the population.
100%. I think at this point in time.
It is. I mean, they do say that in the future that's how we're going to control the population. The Earth's very small. There's not going to be enough. There's too many people to, sustain the planet. And the way it's looking with Trump and his agenda, that it's going to be the USFA and that's going to be it. Maybe Russia,
And do you think Trump?
China, and that's it.
Do you think Trump's a bad guy?
I do. Yes.
No problem. And if there was another lockdown tomorrow, would you do it?
Yeah. Well, probably. It depends. It depends on the circumstances. Yes.
No problem. Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
I know you don't agree with me, do you?
I don't agree with a lot of things. Like I said,
Listen.
It's not that I don't agree. It's just that what I feel that the government, people have not been given the correct information regarding COVID.
Give information when a pandemic.
But it's like I said, not many people know about
The number of people who went to that football match.
what football match.
It was a football match down in England just before the pandemic really travelled.
But what I'm saying is,
the number of people who went to that ended up in hospital.
But what I'm saying to you is that you said it yourself. You didn't know anyone that died of COVID. You didn't know anybody.
Every day I knew actually adhered to the rules.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, if there was a pandemic, you'd at least know somebody. But again, what I'm trying to get at here is the informed consent. A lot of people don't even know about the protocols that the government put in place for people that had COVID. So, for example, they were put on, people that went into the hospitals were put on a protocol called end-of-life care, which was midazolam and morphine. Anybody that had a respiratory illness put on that protocol was going to die. And then they put it down to a COVID death. So do you get what I'm kind of saying here?
So then they were, I know, so manipulating data.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, is that what always happened?
But again,
But that's what I'm trying to say. What you're doing is good, but maybe not necessarily just for this. It's for everything. That we've put our trust in the NHS, we've put our trust in a lot of medical science, and it's all, what you've got to understand is for medical science to progress, we're all guinea pigs.
Well,
and that's maybe something that people don't like to hear, or they don't want to, it's not palatable, but that's the truth.
yeah.
A bit more consideration before you take something.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, like I say, a lot of people don't actually realise that the protocols the government put in place during COVID was actually called the end-of-life care, which is called the Liverpool pathway.
Right.
And they put midazolam and morphine into people's bodies. So for me, I don't feel that the mainstream media are telling people the truth regarding things. I mean, the fact that I've told you about the risk of the Jags.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So my question here is, if you were to take another, if they were to do another lockdown tomorrow, and the government, let's say we had an outbreak or something, would you take another Jag that the government told you to take?
Probably, but there'd be a lot more research and consideration going into it.
You think so? You would,
That's all
even though,
That's all you're gonna get from me, I'm afraid.
that is
There's a lot more consideration. Maybe read stuff a little bit more.
no problem. Well, look, mate, I appreciate the time, mate. No bother, man. Well, I say for me, Jim, I think 2020 was the start of the.
Vision, John.
It's the start of the end for what's to come.
Aye, yeah. We can only move into a better world, can we?
Here's home, Jim.
Too many people see the criminality of these reprobates in government and wherever else in it. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's seen their corruption now. So, you can't think further. Surely the people's not going to give away more of their freedoms to these arseholes.
I mean, what do you think, looking back now, what do you think 2020 was really all about?
Control, and I don't know, they're up to something still, I think. Like, control, they went rid of cash. I don't
There's 20-minute neighbourhoods in the Glasgow City Council.
I've seen all that as well. And you talk to some people and they think you're nuts, but...
Well, I just tell them, go and look at your City Council, and it's in your City Council. They'll paint everybody the picture that...
Look at what they're doing in Sucky Hall Street. I work in Sucky Hall Street now, and what they're doing up there, they're took all the seats away and all that. Where's the old people meant to sit? And they're spending over £7 million on that. I know that's coming away from COVID, but another thing with COVID and all, like when they were doing all that, see in the schools, they were changing their curriculum, like the sexual education and all that, and nobody really knew about it. But I'm like, if they were that busy with a pandemic, how the hell are you focusing on the future like that? Like,
Well, like I say, I appreciate you for speaking. You know what I mean? Like I say, see, if more people start speaking and can see the truth, then it's going to be a better world.
Always kind of been opened like with the government and stuff, like right, but I think a lot more people knew it because of COVID. But before that, I was already like wary of things happening anyway. Like, but you sound like a nutcase to some people that don't really know about it. Do you know what I mean?
I think COVID was the IQ test. I fell for it, you know.
Aye.
But I think for people now to go with a narrative that keeps...
We all kind of fell for it at the very start. Like, you were feared. Do you know what I mean? But no, I don't think... They never dealt with it right at all. And then look at, like, with Boris Johnson and stuff. Like, they were having parties. If there was this big pandemic, why were they no paranoid?
Well, aye. I mean...
Do you know what I mean?
Well, they were... There's one rule for them, different rule for us. And like I said, is the government really our friend?
No, definitely no. Definitely no.
Well,
and they still see that there's still things going on all around the world, not just Scotland, all around the world. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I appreciate you for speaking to me.
No worries, mate.
Follow
What's your
me.
name again?
John.
John, but wait, what's your name?
Pregnant noise.
That's
Get
it.
back.
No, you're
My hoodie, aye. Get the hoodie. You need to get yourself a hoodie. And see, regarding informed consent, if I told you you could get heart issues, did the government tell you could get heart issues, vaccine-induced thrombocytopenia, blood clots? Did you know all these kind of side effects?
Honestly, no, mate. I thought I was doing the right thing. And it was all these scientists, and it was kind of quickly put together, so to speak. So it was like, how long did it take them to come up with a vaccine? Not too long, know what I mean? It was definitely a money-making venture.
100%. Well, look, mate, I appreciate you for taking the time to speak to me. And
If it's on social media, I'm James Tanner and I stay down in Kilmarnock, so I'm up with one of my mates today and I met this gentleman here and he's educated me on something I very near had forgot all about, actually.
Well,
Ken, you know, it's not something you want to remember, big man, because it was, and you're away from your family and all that. It really, it knocked people back in a lot of different ways. You're lucky to be here today, big man, and I'm glad that you're here.
I just feel that the general public aren't getting the real facts. I feel that the general public were lied through the COVID. They didn't hear about the side effects from them because every time I've spoken out, I've been shut down. I've been shut down on social media. Nicola Sturgeon blocked me. You know, I asked her, you know, what are you going to do for people like me that have been injured by it? I took on the Prime Minister, which was Rishi Sunak, on the TV, confronted him. He didn't get back to me. What I'm trying to kind of show people is how much the government really care about people, and they don't, because what happened to me could have happened to you and could have happened to anybody else. And this is a harsh reality, and the numbers of people that have been affected by that jag are massive. And here's a question, see in regards to things and the way the world's gone, especially Glasgow right now, can you see this place getting slowly but surely getting taken over?
Oh, 100%.
Like total control?
100%. We have no freedom of speech. They might have a freedom of speech to basically say what you want without, like, listen, I've not got a problem with immigration, legal immigration, people coming over to Scotland or Britain to basically benefit our culture and abide by our rules and our laws and our beliefs. But see the people that are coming over here with no papers, we don't know who they are. There's guys that are coming over here saying that they're struggling because their country this and that, but they're coming over and they're raping, they've been rapists, there's been proof about it in England. It's a lot of shite. The government don't care about us, the government don't give a fuck. They would rather benefit everybody else and every other religion that I'm not a racist. I don't care about it. But at the end of the day, I don't agree with illegal migration. Legal immigration, 100% back it, for your benefit in our country. But illegal migration, people that are coming over here and they have no documentations, no papers, we don't have a clue who the fuck they are. And it's not as if it's families with young children, it's young men, ages between 20 and 30 and 40, that are coming over here with no documentation, no paperwork.
How old are you, mate?
I'm 26.
26. I mean, what do you think the future's going to be like for you, mate?
There isn't a future for me. See, to be honest, I've got a young son who's 2, and I'm scared to bring my young son up in this environment, in this world at these times, because the government don't care. The British government don't give a fuck about the British people because they're too busy trying to accommodate everybody else and make themselves look good for everybody else, for the UN, for this and that. Donald Trump, love that guy. What he says is so fucking true. Close the borders, stop the boats, simple as.
Well, look, mate, I appreciate you. So, the other question as well, 2026, next election, who are you voting for?
Don't vote, mate. I'm not going to lie, I don't vote.
You're not saying reform over there?
I fuck it, reform it is, isn't it? I'd rather vote for somebody who's had the same background and brought up in a rough area of the city of Glasgow, Edinburgh, wherever. I'd rather have somebody like that fighting for us than some SNP Labour wanker who was brought up with a silver spoon in their mouth, who don't have a fucking clue, have never actually lived in poverty or struggled day to day in life or struggled with the cost of living crisis. They don't give a fuck about that. They're making fortunes. They made fortunes through COVID and everything. They don't care about us. They don't care about the lower class.
Do you trust the mainstream media?
They're fuck.
I am the media.
I don't know mainstream, but
no, yeah.
At the moment, I don't trust. See, like STV, BBC, and all that, I don't trust them. But the BBC, you know, they tell us what we want to hear, not the truth.
100%. Well, look, mate, I appreciate you for doing that, mate. See you, mate.
Take care, big man. All the best.
So we've got more youth, you know. Why is it the working class that can see that? You know, just these young kids can see exactly what's getting played out, but most people can't. And the kids, they're saying exactly what everybody's thinking. The government do not care about us. It's good to see that a lot more people are switched on to this. Do you not think that, so Pfizer tried to hide their data for 75 years and the government and the mainstream media didn't touch on that and didn't tell people that? They knew in the trials that it could harm people. They knew all this information. We've got, every time I open up my Facebook now, there's somebody died suddenly. Now, before 2020, that was non-existent. Why are all these young people with young people dropping down dead all of a sudden?
It's because maybe people are not very fit anymore. Like when I was a child, we all went out to play and we ran around. And
but we're talking about athletes. There was a 24-year-old guy in Glasgow.
I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm not saying that isn't correct, because I do think that we weren't told the right information.
Yeah.
We don't know what the long-term impacts are, and maybe in the long term, none of us are going to live for very long because of it. I don't know.
Well, like I said, I appreciate you for speaking, but for me...
Listen, I'm not...
No, you're not here for anything. I'm just saying that I feel that the public have not been given the correct information. I took that thing in good will, just like you and everybody else. It nearly ended my life. Government didn't want to speak to me. The doctors didn't want to speak to me, all because it was down to that jag. So what I'm trying to get to people is if you took it and it went wrong, you were literally left on your own. And that's the honest truth, because Nicola Sturgeon blocked me because I asked her for help. I also confronted the Rishi Sunak on the TV, who was the Prime Minister. He ignored me. So what does that tell people? This is the biggest medical cover-up in history because we have got a massive increase in people dying suddenly. We do have a lot of people with heart issues. We have so many people now getting aggressive cancer. All of this before 2021, before the rollout of the Jags, was not heard of. But now all of a sudden, but again, I feel that the general public are not getting this information because...
You realise, I don't know if you've been here long enough on Earth, we are just all guinea pigs for everything.
100%. I think that's the problem.
That you're just witnessing it, be it wars, to like reduce the population, be it viruses to reduce the population. We're all just guinea pigs. And if you think you're important, look what's happened in Gaza. Look what's happened to whether you believe in one. I don't believe. I'm not in agreement with Hamas. I think what they did was terrible. I don't agree with what the Israelis did in Hamas, in Gaza. Not to the Palestinians. It's appalling. What's happening now, in everywhere. It's just all, it's horrendous.
Yeah, definitely. Well, look, I appreciate your time.
But you're just maybe waking up to reality.
I think.
Sorry, but that's the truth of it all, because I've seen things throughout my life, and you've got to realise that that's the way things go. If you think, you're living in clouds like cuckoo land, if you think that we're not all just guinea pigs for everything.
I don't think it's not that I think that we're all guinea pigs. I mean, I think
that we were given the drug for any negative reason.
You don't think they gave the COVID-19 jag for a negative reason?
Do you think that should try to kind of get rid of like the whole of the Western population?
Well, I think when you hear Bill Gates say on a stage that with vaccines and stuff we can depopulate the earth, and then the man was heavily involved with these pharmaceuticals as well. So I'm going to use common sense a wee bit.
No, I do absolutely agree that that's how they're going to control the population in the future. But whether they want to get rid of everybody, well, maybe it has happened. I'm not going to deny.
Well, we've got a massive increase in excess deaths in the country around the world, not just in Scotland, but around the whole world, with an injection with no long-term safety study being rolled out to the government. Again, when people like me spoke out against it, we were silenced on social media, we've been silenced by the press, we've been silenced by the newspapers. I am the most silenced man in this country. They do not want me to exist. And like I said, for me...
No, I agree with what you're saying, but I honestly think that if you think you're the first person, or you think this has never happened before, or it's not going to continue in the future, then you're naive, because it's always happened.
Well, it's not the fact that I think...
women taking the pill has been like the biggest kind of experiment ever.
No, I think the COVID-19 one beats that one out, because the pills had long-term safety data.
No, but the pill, that
But you know the risk, but you didn't know the risk from the COVID jag.
Yeah, but the pill, when it goes into the water, even nowadays, it feminises the fish. So what do you think it's done to men?
Well, you're singing from the same hymn sheet here.
So many men now are not as masculine as they were previously, because they've been feminised, and that is, I don't know why women are not more feminine, but we're definitely more masculine. But there's definitely, that is unfortunately science, politics, and
Well, for me, I'll never trust the science again or a politician.
Yeah, and no, I've never done.
Yeah, well, you trusted them when you locked down and took the vaccine.
I did it because I thought at the time. Yeah, no, you're not wrong there. But I thought at the time I had older relatives I didn't want to kill.
I'd done the same as you. My mother had cancer. My family were all telling me to take it.
Blindly, I always thought there was a risk.
But are you not a wee bit upset now? I mean, what I'm telling you is, I know top doctors.
Not really, no, because I think, well, that's just life. It's a circle of life, and I don't oppose you doing what you're doing. Okay. I'm just saying, I'm not.
Yeah.
When I was younger, everything was black and white, then it was grey, and then I realised that everything's actually the reverse of what I think it is. And now, between Trump and the way he's behaving in America, is disgusting. And I think, well, the whole world has gone absolutely crazy.
100%. Well, look, I'm going to shoot off. It was nice speaking to you.
You too.
Aye, mate, we have been lied to all the way.
I heard this thing as well. A lot of people don't even know about the protocols the government put in place for people that had COVID. They put a protocol in place called the end-of-life care, which is midazolam and morphine. So anybody that was put on that protocol weren't getting out of the hospital, but the general public don't know about that. Did you know anything about that at all?
No, I didn't, mate, to be honest with you. No,
and they put a lot of COVID deaths down as COVID, but it wasn't COVID deaths.
That's right, aye, they did, aye. If somebody did call it was put down as COVID and all that, mate, aye.
Well, Jim, like I said, I've been interviewing a few people today. And the common answer is, did they see a pandemic? And they say no.
No, it's nearly pandemic alive.
Cheers, Jim. You know what I think?
Nah, not even. All I seen was Boris Johnson partying and that, bro.
What do you think?
So jealous.
Obviously, they told people about the COVID jags and stuff. So, what do you guys think about the COVID jag?
I never took that out of you know, it's a scam. You don't know what these lot are putting in your system. So you're trying to tell me it took them a few months to already come up with a vaccine? That's suspicious. And these lot are trying to tell me there's no cancer vaccines or nothing. And it's been around for years and years and years.
Nah, it's
Did you
smart,
take
know. I would never take something that the government said I should take, bro. I won't lie to you, bro.
Yeah, man.
Only thing I've ever taken was a flu nasal spray.
I wouldn't even trust that.
I don't even know anymore, man. I might be cooked.
Well, look, I took the jag and it nearly killed me. So it gave me heart issues, neurological issues. I've been pretty vocal regarding this. I do podcasts. I'm trying to ask people. I've been shut down like all the time. You know, government keeps shutting me down and stuff. So, but it's good to see that the young guys. See, you guys are quite young. I mean, how old are you? Like 20?
I'm 18, bro.
18.
I'm 17.
17, right? So, I mean, the future. Do you guys have hope for your future? I mean, what do you guys think of the future?
As I said, I was a good kid in school. I was a straight A student, and then due to the pandemic, you cannot let go of yourself because I never knew I was gonna go back to school. So then I started like failing high school. So now I'm in college, and my life is starting to get a little bit worse. But
can you guys see that the government are trying to slowly but surely control us? Have you seen any of this kind of stuff?
100%. Well, how you telling me, that you need to be in school till when you're 18 to actually be able to get like a job or something, mate? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, see, that's if you look at all these rich people, they did not finish school before they could actually make money, bro.
Yeah.
The way I see it, it's a little pyramid scheme, bro. I can't lie, bro. You know what I mean?
Since day one, it's always been a rat race. You know, the school, they don't teach you how to make money. They don't teach you how to pay taxes. They teach you how to be an employee. How am I asking to go to the toilet? Hey, sir, can I go toilet? You know what I'm trying to say? It's like, they just want you to be an employee for life. It's not really like, nowadays, to be rich, you just need to think out the box and disconnect from the rat race.
Do you guys trust the mainstream media?
Nah, it's all edited. Have you seen the TV? Like all the...
I do content creation right now, like TV broadcasting and stuff. It's all edited. Trust me.
The amount of things that they remove from the TVs, there's something that they don't like. Like I seen this one guy. He was just a chill guy. He was with the Palestine stuff, and then he was on the BBC. I don't know what's the famous guy on BBC that interviews everybody.
I don't know. I don't watch the BBC.
But it's some famous guy. If you know, you know. But the guy was talking about Palestine, and the BBC edited out all the like factual things and made them seem like a dumbass. Basically, I don't want to swear, but like it made them look very dumb.
Fuck it.
Yeah, but it is what it is, isn't it? They just edit everything. It's all pre-edited, so can't trust anything.
Well, look, lads, I appreciate you, but I mean, for me, COVID was a scam. I think
Sorry to hear that, Barry.
Nah, like I say, I've got a friend. I say people took that jag and they didn't realise the harms of them, and I've got a friend who had his leg amputated from it as well. So, like I said, I've been shut down on social media and so many times just for speaking out regarding the harms of the jags. But appreciate you guys for speaking out. You know what I mean? We need the young ones to stand up for the future.
Thank you so much, mate.
Of course, man.
But don't forget, follow my TikTok, innit? Gregory_4013, bro. You get me? Come on.
Mate, I don't even give myself a shout. You better follow Bring the Noise, man.
You know what? I'll actually follow you, mate.
Yeah. Well, cheers, lads, for that, man.
I'm a lorry driver. I got tested for COVID later at another period at New Mills Fire Station. I'd stayed in Ayrshire, and they come up with that I was positive for it. So I isolated again for like, I was at a week or something at the time. You know, I think it was sort of sad all the way because you couldn't do, the whole place was, it was recovered. You know, folk couldn't visit their relatives and it was terrible, man.
Well, the people couldn't get cancer treatment or anything like that.
People couldn't get cancer treatment.
It was just sickening what this government have done. And for me, people want to just kind of forgive and forget what happened. But how can we forgive and forget when so many people have lost their lives to a protocol the government put in place? But not only that, to a jag that the government told everybody was safe and effective. See, in regards to it, if we had another pandemic tomorrow, if the government told us to lock down tomorrow, and told you to take a jag, would you be a bit more hesitant?
I wouldn't take a jag, mate, honestly.
Have you lost a lot of trust in pharmaceuticals?
Aye, definitely. Because they 2 jags for me was... I mean, I felt a bit tired and that was on me and things like that, but I reckon I could have done without them very easily. And a lot of younger people didn't take any jags. They were wise to it. they had said, well, they've got these jugs together, all these scientists within the space of this time, and now we've to take it. No, mate, it was a money-making venture, pal, honestly.
100%.
And we were lied to, by the way. All the way, big man. And I'm so pleased I'm talking to you, because you told me you were at death's door. I'm so pleased you're still here, mate, to tell your side of it as well.
I'm the most censored man in this country from something the government told us to take. And like I said, Prime Minister blocked me, First Minister Nicola Sturgeon, you know, it goes to show people that if you did take it and it went wrong, you were left in the gutter. And that's happened to me and so many others. Like I say, my good friend Alex Mitchell, leg amputated now, left. He needs his house all adapted, because he has to go up and down the stairs on his backside, because he's only got one leg.
What age was that boy, mate? Just a young man?
Alex is just a scaffolder. Alex is, I think he's, 60 now.
60, he's not even all like that, mate. It's terrible such a thing should happen. I bet he was a really fit person and everything up until that then, aye.
But it goes to show people, I ask people all the time, did you know about people getting a leg amputated?
Well, I didn't until you said.
So again, it's like I said, the amount of people that weren't given that proper informed consent. You know what I mean? Well, I appreciate you for speaking, mate.
Aye, thanks again, big man. All the best to you, and hopefully we're out of it now, and hopefully people were back. It did knock the country for six, is all I'm saying.
Aye, 100%.
It really did. But thanks for taking the time with us, mate.
No bother, mate. Cheers for that.
Right, thank you.
Well, there we are. Another day in Glasgow, another few interviews. Very interesting. When you ask people the question, did you see a pandemic? And it seems a lot of people didn't see a pandemic. So, who is really telling the truth? Is it the mainstream media, or is it the people on the streets of Glasgow? Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. As I always like to say, bring the noise.